guys, what's up? Today I've got another BYOB webisode for you. So far in the series, we've uncovered the fears behind the digital world. We've talked about sort of what you're getting into before you're getting into it. And we've also discussed how to discover your brand. So today we get to talk about the fun part, how to establish your brand now that you've sort of figured out what your brand is. So now that you've figured out your brand, it's time to create an image around it. In this specific video today, I'm actually speaking more towards the aspiring bloggers and YouTubers and people who are trying to establish themselves online. For starters, I'm just gonna say in the beginning, it is especially important, from what I've learned, to be consistent with your content. I think that when you're starting, let's say, a beauty blog, it's important that you focus on beauty. So in other words, you don't want to just throw out a fitness post or pictures of your pets all of a sudden when you are trying to establish a strong foundation for your brand. With that comes focusing on my next point, rich content. Rich content is unique content. It requires a lot more work and effort and time. But in the long run, it is worth it if you are trying to really establish your own unique brand. Quality over quantity. In the beginning when you're starting out, you really want to, be taken seriously by, your audience. You're trying to build an audience. And so you think that, I just got to post. I got to keep posting. No, you want to make sure that what you're putting out is good and it's your best work. Another tip is to find your platform and to really market your brand. And nowadays, a lot of people are on their phones, they're checking social media by the hour or by the minute, and so you've got to make sure that you are getting their attention organically throughout these platforms. A lot of people have asked me in the past, should I just focus on my blog? Should I just focus on my YouTube? You have to see sort of all of these different things, YouTube, Instagram, Snapchat, Vine, your blog, whatever, Facebook. You have to see each of those things as platforms. And the important thing for you is to kind of make your mark in each platform. And it's not necessarily how can I get to 1 million followers on every single platform. It's not about that. It's about engaging within the platform and just staying relevant. Later on in the series, I'm going to discuss more about social media, so I'm not going to get too deep into it right now, but I will say it is important that you set up your accounts on social media. So the next important thing to keep in mind is the imagery. So the style of the content that you're putting out, that really has a lot to do with helping you establish your brand. Now, that doesn't mean you have to go out and buy a $1,500 lens and, a $1,000 camera to make your pictures look good. If you're trying to establish maybe an Instagram following, I think it's important to not necessarily copy what other influencers that you look up to are doing. Instead, notice what they're doing and find a way to make it your own and to do something different, to be unique and to showcase your brand, whether that's your personality, whether that's in beauty. You really have to think creatively with the imagery. So last but not least, I think one of the most important tips to keep in mind is when you are trying to establish your brand online, you want to become an expert. You want to become a specialist in that specific brand. So for example, let's say you are, trying to start a big beauty blog or a beauty channel. Essentially, you want the public or you want your audience to come to your page for all things beauty, for all things fashion. You want to be someone they can trust for that. So keep that in mind when you are creating your content and how you word things and how you speak to your audience is, you want to be relatable and you want to be personable, but you also want to establish yourself as someone who knows what they're talking about. Now, maybe some of you guys have already established your brand online and you are, actively pursuing it, but maybe you're not seeing any growth. Now, here's what I'm going to say to you guys. You don't have to delete what you've already created and sort of reestablish everything, but I will say you need to go back to the drawing board and just ask yourself, okay, what is my brand again? What is your brand? And then you can kind of restructure your goals around that in your content. And sometimes that actually means going back and maybe putting some videos that you uploaded on YouTube that have nothing to do with your brand right now. Maybe that means putting them on private for the time being. Whew, this was fun. Okay, yeah, well, episode 3 of my BYOB SaaS tips is now adjourned. And I hope you guys really enjoyed this video. I know a lot of the times it can be overwhelming when you think about, oh man, where do I start when it comes to establishing my brand? But it's just important that you kind of have a map. you kind of have like an idea of how to do it, you know? And so I hope that this video will give you guys exactly that. And if you guys have any questions, as always, you are more than welcome to comment below or on social media, use the hashtag BYOB SaaS Tips. I hope you'll subscribe to my channel, and until next time, mwah, mwah. Bye guys.